Hi, I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage. This is the place where we pull back the curtains and we dive into the creative process. And today we are going to be talking about fashion. I feel very David Bowie, right? Fashion. I have Niecey Josey, the president of Vinrelo. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
I am so excited to have you on the show. We're new friends,
Yes.
but we became fast friends very quickly.
Oh, yes.
And you are a commercial stylist.
Yes.
But we're talking like billboards and magazines and for celebrities.
Yeah, I've been doing this for about over 15 years in the commercial.
15 years? Did you start when you were 12? I mean...
Thank you. Listen, I know I get it all the time, every time I walk into a meeting, but for about over 15 years in the commercial spacing, and just building that catalog of styling, that niche of styling. So I'm in the commercial stylist realm.
Well, but not only are you styling, but you have various segments of your company. So you're doing education, your business planning, you're working out in the field, doing fashion, and Fashion Week is coming up. Tell us about your program that you're doing that is very unique, because I've never heard of a stylist fashion show.
And that's the whole reason to have the show, to have the program. Just even starting from the show. So the show was a concept, fun story. I was upstate and I would go to these production events with print production staff. And so very seasoned individuals, and I would just watch their productions, and I'm like, oh man, people are doing these movies, like they were shooting American Pie and some other movies, this big space and all these production set, and I would just look, and I would just be like, wow, this is like such cool concepts people are bringing to life. And so one day I pulled the producer aside, and I just said, listen, I have this idea. And he's like, what's your idea? I'm like, a Stylist Fashion Show. And he's like, okay, I mean, what does that mean? I said, it's a fashion show, but stylists showcasing the work of designers and their pieces, but from a portfolio standpoint. And then we would bring producers, we would bring models, photographers, press in to look at the stylists if they want to hire them. So season one, we had a set stylist, we had a wardrobe stylist, we had people of all different categories, styling 3 or 4. And we produced a show, and they said, we're going to teach you how to do it, but you're going to do it yourself. I'm like,
all right, they're teaching you how to fish, right?
Yes.
Right. I've been learning that myself.
And so it was like, okay. I was like, yeah, sure. Month into it, I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't want to do this. And they were like, no, so you've already booked the studio. You've already started. You're going to finish it.
What made you think that you might not go ahead with it? Was it overwhelming? Was it so many details to put on a show? I know when I'm producing my shows and I'm dealing with 12 musicians, and it's crazy.
It was I learned the run of show. I learned the insurance standpoint of even just having the runway so high, so low, and if I wanted to raise it a couple more inches, that was $4,000 more. And I'm like, why?
Because they could fall.
Yeah, it's like, so all those elements, the more overwhelming it got, it was just like, wow. It wasn't that I could do it. I was just like, this is a lot I'm not ready for. I just wanted to execute the concept, So they said, listen, we'll come to an agreement with you. We'll teach you half, but you have to do the other half. Okay. So they taught me run of show. I said, okay, we'll teach you it. You just have to fill it in. So, okay, all right, this is what I want. This is how I want. Boom, boom, boom. So I started to learn those elements. And after doing it, I started to teach, or train, I shouldn't say teach, but train the stylists in the show. And I started to train the models. And then in doing that, I said, wow, this is training on the side for production. So we need to have a program for this.
I loved it. I couldn't believe when I was reading your portfolio how diverse it was, but yet it's kind of like with my business. I'm a singer and a producer, but everything is converging in the center with the same purpose.
Yes, correct. And so those skills of being a stylist is transferable into teaching someone or training someone social cues, knowing how to consult, knowing how to speak. You know, whether you're a stylist or not, you're doing business, you have to know how to do that. And so that's kind of where the program came into effect after the show. I was like, oh wow, this needs to be a project, and it was project based because they were on set, it was live.
Right.
So I was like, there's no need to teach theory.
So are you filming it as well as doing a live production?
Yes, at the same time, simultaneously.
So they walk away they get footage, so they have a portfolio.
Correct.
It's not like
Correct.
they did the live show and it's over.
Yes, no, they can walk away with the live portfolio. They can walk away with the skill set, the referrals, the mentorship, the one-on-ones relationships.
Nice.
All of that is available through those opportunities.
And where would somebody go to find you if they wanted to enroll in your school? I know it's very limited. The seating is, but you're doing it on the 9th for Fashion Week this year in February.
Yes, I am.
But you'll continue to do it.
Yeah, so we're in season 4 of filming the show. So it is very limited, and I would say, before I say how to get into it, I would say this. This is the reason why it's limited. It's a private sector, is because it's already vetted. All the essentials are there for you. So every room that you walk into is already a room of success. It's a room of understanding. It's a room of connections. There's no need to really network. You're kind of skipping those steps because everyone already has their establishments in their fields. They're already ready to just, they're already doing things. They're doing projects. So maybe there's resources they need. And so through the show, through the program, throughout the year, those resources are going 24/7.
So where would they, but to connect with you and your company, would they go to Vinrelo.com?
Yep, so they can follow the Instagram page. If they wanted to get into the community, we have opportunities such as our master classes. We have portfolio sessions.
What's a portfolio session?
Portfolio sessions are once a month, where there's a fee you pay, and then you come in with your stuff. You bring your portfolio with you. You bring your projects with you. You bring whatever you're working on.
So I need to find some, other than myself, with my fashion line, my Quinn Lemley ready-to-wear collection.
Any ideas you want to do. So you bring your decks, you bring your one-pagers, you bring everything. It doesn't have to be finalized. It can be drafted. You showcase it, and then there's whoever's in there, it's a melting pot.
Oh, how
it's
fun.
a melting pot. So we do it once a month. We did it with Kara, and Kara is an amazing, she does like analyzing platforms and helping them really meet their niche. And so I said to her, hey, like, do you mind like being part of like my session? You could be a guest, and then we'll judge it. We'll give, you know, like our input. And so we had like the projects were all over that were embedded into the session. It was like, whoa, so it's great because it's live.
Well,
you don't
tell me what some
get.
of the projects might have looked like.
One project we had, Terrell Jones, he was doing Productive Academy. He was doing an HBCU tour. So now he had the outline of the deck, but what were the resources that he was going to do inside of the deck to get those sponsorships, get those partnerships that wasn't in the deck? Or was there a clear identifier of...
So like who were the people that he was trying to reach out to?
Yes. Or how do we, is this a tour? Is this going to continue, or is this a one-time thing?
I see.
So if it's a tour, let's add a logo, let's add a phrase to know each year. Now it's your type of situation. So that's just an example.
So you're not talking just about this kind of fashion. You're talking about all kinds of fashion.
Yes.
So it's the whole commercial spectrum.
Yes, that's why I love commercial. I love the commercial space because it has those opportunities in that world to really showcase the term fashion. Because, you know, when I talk about cognitive fashion is not clothes.
So describe cognitive fashion for you?
Being aware of things around you.
Brand awareness, that kind of thing. Do you think that people, when they're branding themselves, are too afraid to commit to a specific idea or concept that concept might fail?
Yes, because they're not considering. You have to consider what it looks like if it is familiar and what it looks like when it's not familiar. And so we're not considering that. If I'm putting out this amazing advertisement, which is fine, which is what I do well, that doesn't mean it'll resonate with the masses because they've never seen it.
Right.
So
how
it's
many
like,
times I mean, now we have so much media coming at us. How many times? It used to be 7 times before somebody would even be on your radar. What would you say it is now?
Forever.
I feel like I'm always doing my social media.
It's every day. It's gonna be the rest of your life. I mean, it's really hard to determine because it's also determining. I guess it's determined on where your starting point is. So I didn't really start my innovation through a new platform. I started it through an industry that I've already been a part of.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right,
So it's
right.
not like if I'm explaining these concepts to you, you're a seasoned business professional, you're gonna understand it. If I'm explaining it to new small business owners, it takes a minute to process.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And tell me about your glasses. I love them. I got to try them on when we were taking pictures. They are so beautiful.
Kazoku,
They are so cool. You always wear sunglasses. That's your brand.
Yes, it is my brand identity, and it is my identity as Niecey, the brand of Vinrelo, the brand of S.F.S.
And so give me the concept behind it. Why?
We have so many conversations about my brand identity and theirs, and really what this means for me. I actually do wear prescription glasses.
I know, me too.
And I cannot see well. And so my eyes are my essential, my money, you know, and it is what I do. It's part of my gift, you know. And so to protect that, I wear dark frames when I'm not working. I get floaters and spotters and everything. We talked about this in our meetings, and I'm like, yeah, no, I do. You gotta get them. So,
well, and you're concentrating so
yeah, sitting at the computer,
much.
yeah, and then I'm zoning in, and then I'm also an ASL interpreter. For sign language.
Oh.
So I grew up signing, grew up interpreting as well. So
what got you into that?
Deaf family.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So always using my eyes.
It was. I find sign language so beautiful.
Yeah, we have a deaf stylist in the program. He'll be showcasing for Fashion Week too.
I love it.
Yeah, this is his premiere. So what we talked about was when I started the brand, I said, listen, I mean, I wear shades all the time. So I have to protect the light. It's just, it doesn't matter if it's night, day, whatever. And so that is very important to me. So in my brand, I embedded that for 2 reasons. One is obviously I'm the founder, I'm the owner, and it's important to not look at people and just like,
right.
You know, I don't want anybody to think that's what I'm doing when I really can't see. Right. So I'm like, well, shades it is. We're used to it. So and
it's
fashion.
cool. It's fashion.
Right.
And now these particular glasses with your partner, your fashion, they're in Wicked, the movie.
Yes, they are. And there are a couple other things that I can't wait till they'll publicly be able to share that.
But what is the website where that people can go purchase the glasses?
So you could just go straight on Instagram to Kazoku Lunettes.
Kazoku Lunettes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have such a really strong portfolio.
But it's all intergalactic kind of space,
because
new age.
The founder, Michael, he has created these frames that are innovative frames. They're unisex. He's won the award for his framing. So these aren't just to the eye. They're a special, specific type. Right. And so it meshed in well with my brand. For when business professionals are coming, I would tell them, hey, wear your frames, wear your sunglasses.
I love it. You didn't tell me, but you're on my show. No, it's okay. Now, I want to go ahead and finish.
So I would tell them to wear these to these events that I'm having, and I'm also kind of breaking down that stigma of shades and kind of feeling like with the person in the room, oh, they're in the corner, they look or feel a certain way. No, you may not know. That's why they're wearing frames. They can't really see well. So now I have everyone mesh into the room. They feel good. They come with their fashion uniform.
They look
all
good.
Black. Yeah. And so that's become something that I've shifted inside of my platform with wearing shades to all of my events.
You know, it's interesting. Well, you don't know this, but I've been very sensitive. I've had a lot of loss in my life the past year and a half, and my mom and my husband, people don't know what somebody is going through. And they'll say, oh, somebody's hiding behind glasses or they're hiding behind a piece of fashion. I think that it's so important to other people, even if you're having a bad day or whatever, you don't know what the other person is going through. And they're not hiding, it's just they're protecting themselves or whatever. And so that's why it's so important to not judge and connect through the conversation of fashion.
I totally agree. And sometimes, somebody may have to wear some shades or something on their hands, gloves, or whatever the case is. Like you said, you don't really know. But for me, it's very important to just be able to protect my brand first versus an opinion or, kind of an outside statement versus what's factual. And what's factual is that I got to protect it. It's very important to me until I get transitionals,
Now, I want to talk. We had a conversation with Niecey Josey last week, the fabulous violinist, and we were talking about sponsors and partners. And let's talk about that.
That topic.
Let's talk about it. Why do people not want sponsors? And they want partners.
Okay. Yeah, so we were starting that conversation off at the intention of the level of what you do. When you're starting out, you obviously are in this sponsorship space, in that tier, where you're aligning yourselves with a certain audience, right? Essentially, as a sponsor, you have an audience, I have an audience, you have a phone book, I have a phone book. Let's bring those phone books together. Right. That's kind of like what it is, and either you pay or I pay or we both pay, whatever that transactional situation is in a sponsorship. But, in a partnership, it's more brand alignment. It's more mission focused. It's vision focused. It's longevity.
It's the same thing in the music business. I mean, like for me, I'm doing my album. I have partnered. I'm singing the Great American Songbook. I'm partnering with the Johnny Mercer Foundation, so that it just makes sense.
And that's the alignment. So whether it's events, marketing, messaging. We speak the same language. It's always like, okay. And so that's transferable into the next 4 or 5 partnerships that you're looking to get into because it's your reference. They're going to look at, okay, Quinn, well, who do you have behind you? Who's the 4 or 5 people I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why it's so important to be really clear about what we stand for and what our values are because it's the people that we surround ourselves with that are a reflection of ourselves and of our brand.
Yeah. And I think about sponsorships as more so business, and then I think partnerships is more so lifestyle.
You partner with a lot of people, and that's throughout the United States. You have people all over. How do you find your talent, and how do you establish what each role of those individuals are going to do within your company?
Oh, wow.
Or am I asking too many questions?
That's a good, that's really good. I mean, I know the answer, but it's just, it's so great for you to ask that because people don't ask that. And that's like, they don't. They just say, who are you with and what are they doing?
Oh, because I was reading all the bios. I mean, you did send me your brochure. And so I read all 18 pages of it.
Oh, wow.
And I was I'm really impressed with the branding. Everything was so clean.
It's
and I
100% me.
I loved it. Great. The fonts that you chose were powerful and bold and clean. And I loved that everything was black and white.
Yes.
And except for there were times where you wanted to pop with color, and it was very intentional. It did not go unnoticed. I was like, oh, yes.
You need to be my representative.
I'm just aware of it because I'm designing my albums right now.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to finding someone that I'm aligned with, I sit back. I pay attention. I pay attention. I love to learn from them. If I can't learn from you, I really honestly, I can admire you from far, but a partner, I have to be in admiration of you. And we don't have to cross in terms of our
Well, I noticed that everybody had niches. You had very different niches.
Yes. And so that's another thing. I want to see what they do well without effort. Because the days that they don't want to do it, I want to see if they could still do it. You know, if their performance level, I'm very, very big on performance.
Oh, well, I mean,
You know,
in the
so-
music business, sometimes you don't feel like getting on stage and
Yeah.
performing in front of 1,200 people,
Correct.
but you have to.
Correct. Yeah.
And you have to channel it and get,
Yeah.
but you know, you're always, I feel that when I step up to the plate, whether it's coming on this show or whatever
Yeah.
I do, that when I say yes to something and I commit to it, and even if I'm having a tough day and I squeeze myself into the process, I am so better afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's...
Oh yeah, and it's like a light. It's like a light that goes on and off. I love working with people that you don't have. It doesn't have to be a lifestyle for you, but they speak it. I tell people all the time, I don't style, I speak style.
I like that. I speak style.
Yeah, I don't style.
Okay,
speak
so
it.
I don't music. I sing music.
Because it's the essence of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and what I do, I don't have templates ready.
Great.
Surprisingly, I don't template any of my work.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you storyboard it?
Nope.
So let's say you have somebody that comes in, let's say it's an artist and you're going to brand them. What would be your process in terms of, have you ever looked at someone and said, girl, you have no style and you need
No.
to be styled?
I say, where is what's your style?
How do you, well, you started, let's first dissect the name of your company because you started in vintage.
Yes.
So Vinrelo.
Yes.
Vinrelo.
Yes.
And so tell about that journey and then how do you create style out of vintage pieces?
So yeah, I started as a vintage stylist, going from visual merchandising into direct styling with celebrities and finding quality pieces. Because celebrity, let's be honest, they want one-of-ones, but they want quality. So vintage styling was not at the forefront. It is now, because when I started, I'm not going to age myself, but when I started doing it,
Yesterday,
when I started it, it wasn't a trend. It was not a trend. And so I was finding quality like Ellen Tracy pieces, and it just
Where were you finding them?
vintage stores.
All in New York or all over?
New York. Yeah,
Right.
I'm born and raised here from Queens. So I would find it in these places, and I was like, oh, wow, I could bring this into the corporate world.
Yeah.
And that's so I started doing that. And one of my clients, she was shopping at the Real. So she would just order like 30 pieces, and we'll just go through those pieces. And they were great, but it's like there was the quality for me. So I would try to mesh some of that together with her stuff. And she had a phenomenal closet, by the way. Like a walk-in closet, and it was just
Nice.
phenomenal. And so that's where I said to myself, if I continue doing this celebrity styling work for 2 years, I gave myself 2 years, then I would start my own company.
Nice.
And so we would have these sessions, these conversation sessions before we actually started styling. So we would have fashion therapy 30 minutes, and then we have in-person styling 30 minutes.
Wow, how fun. Were you able to take the existing pieces that someone would have and completely change their look?
No, I
Or
kept
change their, or give them a look or a style?
Yeah, giving them a niche. So not really changing them or their style, but just niche, like you're known for this, which will start your identity process,
Right.
And so that's kind of where I started the vintage, and then being in branding, I was like, oh, 2 for 1. And so when I started my company, I was going through these names. Oh my, Quinn, they were so bad. I was like, I could do it for companies. For me, it was like, I don't know, I wanted to call it like Josie Closet or something. It was horrible.
So how did you come up with did you just dream it one day? Or?
No, I took one of my own strategies and I started piecing. I said, well, what makes me me, right? Vintage, that's one, because that's what I'm doing. And then real trends, real deals, I'm really into this. I'm obsessed about it. Okay, I'm going to use the word real, and then low, in terms of not low quality, but low pricing, discounts.
Nice.
What's another word for discount? Oh, low. And so I took those 3 words and I literally sat there and I just started pulling letters out of it. And then I just,
it's
boom, 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 there it is.
I had Irene Michaels on, who she's a singer and songwriter, and we were talking about how her process of putting things together. And I produced a David Bowie show called Rebel Rebel: The Many Lives of David Bowie, and his songwriting process, he would cut up words. And he would put. Wow. That's why when he was a singer-songwriter to start, and he would put phrases together out of these words. That's why when they're so unusual.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're creating a new lexicon.
Yeah, and right.
In style.
When you said that, and so knowing about lexicons and all that stuff, and really kind of embedding the skill set of being an interpreter.
Yeah.
Doing that, and those skill sets in education, it was a no-brainer. I said, once I brand Vinrelo, I will never have to rebrand myself ever again.
And your upcoming projects, your school is going to be the 9th of February?
Yeah, so we're showcasing our show, season 4. And this is the elevation. We have some surprises, so I don't even know, should I share one?
Yeah, sure. We only have 2 minutes, so give me a little teaser.
Okay. Wow. So one teaser that the world doesn't know, this is going to change the game, is my fashion program, fashion, business, and media. Those are 3 sectors that we only cover. And we've launched it, but publicly during Fashion Week, we are launching S.F.S Backhouse.
Oh.
And so S.F.S Backhouse is going to be castings, it's going to be tools.
Great.
It's going to be a lot of things in the industry you want to get access to, and we have access. And so through the program, we have casting for commercials, for shows.
Wonderful.
I mean, it's multiple industries. You can go from an airline to a chips commercial and so.
Niecey, I'm just so thrilled that you're here on the show and you're styling, and I will see you at Fashion Week.
Yes. I thank you so much, Quinn. This is a great way to start 2025.
I know, it's going to be a great year. I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage. You can join us every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on mnm.org on Channel 4, or you can visit me at quinnlemley.com, sign up for my newsletter, be a part of my world, and I have a new album coming out, so I hope to see you. I'm Quinn Lemley. Until next time.